Inoue. So with that being said, and with that being established here on True School Sports, all right, we're gonna swing it over to Pops, right? Because I haven't really gotten Pops' thoughts on Naoya Inoue versus Stephen Fulton. So Pops, let me just ask you, what is your take on this matchup between the Monster and Cool Boy?
I think both fighters is a challenge to both fighters. A big challenge from the Cool Boy from Philadelphia, going across the pond and making the fight happen, and going to thank you Al Heyman, and he calling to him. He was the one that actually came out there and wanted that fight happen, and he did it. And it's also a challenge for Inoue. Inoue's going up in a different weight class, trying to become the 4-time division champ. So it's going to be a great fight. And let me tell you one thing for sure. In my opinion, I think it's one of the ultimate fights that we're going to see, because you got Fulton, who's 3 inches taller, who's been traveling all over the place to get all his wins and get his accolades the way he did. He did the right way to get his wins, and to even go across the pond to be more bigger. He hasn't had a home fight since 2015 back in Philadelphia. So it's good to see what he's doing. He's accustomed to traveling, and he's accustomed not scared to go anywhere and try to surprise everybody. I could go on and on.
No, I want you to go on and on. So I guess the next thing.
Go ahead. I'm going to tell you what I see from Fulton. I think Fulton has the foot movement. He has the height, 3-inch height. He has the length, and he's going to fight. But when I say he's going to fight from the out, I think he's going to fight from the outside.
Yep.
Throw that jab out there. He's going to fight. And if he goes in the trenches like he did with Figueroa and Danny Romaine, he's going to go in there inside and make it tough. And he's going to block a lot of shots with his shoulders, and he's going to be difficult for Inoue to think he's going to have an easy walk in the park. Don't discredit his power. His power is not as big as Inoue, but believe what I say, he can bring it when he has to, and he's done that in the fight against Figueroa and against Danny Romaine.
And Angelo too. When he fought
Leo, not this great Leo champion. And that being said, for Inoue, you all know he's got power. He's got a beautiful left hook. He's got a lot of power in those hands. He's not as fast as Fulton, but he's more craftier than Fulton as far as his footwork. And he will set up his angles, and he will get through his punches in a way that you won't even expect him to come out, because he's gonna make you think he's gonna throw this way, but he's gonna throw another way. So it's gonna be a great fight. I'm excited for it. May the best man win.
Let me ask you this question, Pops. Do you 2 questions for both fighters? Mm-hmm. For Inoue, do you think his power carries up to 122? Because that's like one of the factors in the fight. A lot, some people don't think the power will carry up. Some people do. What do you think?
I think we're gonna find that out when we see the fight within the first few rounds. If he goes in and he throws one of those shots and Fulton just looks at him.
Because I personally,
because I'm gonna tell you right now, you can have you're gonna always have that power. But the question is, I don't think he's fought a craftier fighter and a fighter like Fulton to bring out that dirty Philadelphia fight in the trenches. So we're gonna have to see. That being said, I will still give him the tie to him because he's got that power, and I will give the power to him. So yes, I think he's still gonna bring that power there. The question is, how much damage can he do to Fulton? Yeah,
that's true. That's true. What I before I ask you the next question, I wanted to chime in a little bit.
Sure.
I personally think Inoue's power will carry up because of the way he's not you got different types of punchers in boxing. Some guys get their punching power from their strength, from just their muscles and their build, right? Just how they're built. Sometimes God just gives people with natural strength. Mm-hmm. Inoue is a fighter where his punching power comes from his technique. There's no, as to quote Chris Algieri, there's no fat on the punches. Right. They're very sharp and they're very precise. And when I went to the Ohashi gym when I was in Japan, and I saw how the little kids, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, little amateur boxers punching 2 or 3 years above, advanced. I saw why Inoue punches the way he punches because of how they're trained and they're very much about
fundamentals,
not just the fundamentals, but building the fighters from the ground up as far as their legs. All their legs are very strong. The Japanese fighters, particularly from that gym. So I think the power will carry up because of that.
And I think one thing that I noticed just from the videos that he made from all the Japanese boxers in Japan was that when they throw that punch, they're not there to play ping pong with you.
Yeah,
they're not there to just tap like a lot of other fighters from Europe or from Britain. When they go out there, they're precise. Boom,
just like that.
Boom,
straight like that.
So and I see that, and it's bringing that fundamentals to all the fighters from the time when they're small to where Inoue is at makes him a dangerous fighter to me.
Okay. Now I'll ask you this because they just announced, and I came out with a video about this morning.
Mm-hmm.
They just announced the judges for the Inoue Fulton fight. None of them are from America or Japan, and the referee's not American or Japanese either. So, the Fulton fanboys, because we know there's a lot of people that don't like Inoue, and they get root for Stephen Fulton for the wrong reasons, right? They're trying to find any way to discredit his win, right? So now the fact that there's no referees from or no judges from America or Japan, there's no biasness either way. So my thing is this: do you still feel like if Cool Boy does enough, do you still feel like he can get a decision in Japan?
I'm actually picking this fight to be closer to what people think it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I feel
out of like 100, like what you make, what would it be like 50-50, 60-40, 70-30? Like what would be your? How do you see it?
I see it closer than that, Brendan.
What do you see it?
I see it.
Talk to him, Pops. The floor is yours.
I'm saying for me, it's going to be maybe 60-45 or even closer.
You mean 60-40?
Yeah, 60-40. 60-40. I will give the edge, a couple of edges to Inoue, but I'm not sleeping on Cool Boy.
Okay.
Cool Boy is going to put the fire out on the Japanese people. He just tells that guy's confident. You could tell all that traveling he's done since 2015 to all these places that he's ready for this fight and he's going out and go get it. And one thing that I was watching one of his videos, he said recently, listen, I'm not just there just because I'm going to fight Inoue for the big fight, this and that, and yes to mine and everything. I got a belt to protect. I got my belt. And if you think I'm going to come to Japan and just say, hey, Inoue, you're the monster, and you come up to my division, I'm just going to give you this belt. You got a real thing coming. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going back and I was rewatching the Brandon Figueroa fight, and the thing about Cool Boy is when he's like Brandon Figueroa moved up. And he's a force. Like he's a good size, a solid featherweight. And so Fulton's used to fighting these bigger natural guys, and he was pushing. This gets understated a lot, but he was pushing Brandon Figueroa back in many parts of that fight. I think Stephen Fulton's physical strength, his ability to push guys back, is not getting talked about enough. Inoue is a fighter that turned pro at 108, right? I think it was 108.
Yeah.
He's a naturally smaller guy, so. And the thing is, I've just seen it a couple times in fights when you do get in that pocket, the handful of guys that actually sat there in the pocket and pushed him back, they had some success in spots. But I think Stephen Fulton might be the first guy where he's young enough, he's strong enough, and he's got a versatile enough skill set to where he may have success doing that. My thing with Fulton is he needs to not be too Philadelphia for his own good, right?
You mean to come find the inside game?
He can't stay in that pocket too long. I feel like, get in there, push him back, get your shit off, and get out. Like, don't sit there and make it a firefight, because if he makes it a firefight where they're just trading punches and it comes down to a battle of hand speed and precision, I don't think that's a fight he can win. Long term in the fight. And I think too, my bad. I think too, he's got to bank those early rounds, like
take advantage of them. And,
make Inoue question himself
and let him know, like, this is your backyard. But I'm the baddest motherfucker from Philadelphia. I'm coming here to whip your motherfucking ass. I ain't no punk motherfucker. Yeah. I'm gonna come in there and do what I gotta do.
Tell him how you really feel.
I'm trying to tell you right now, Philadelphia, stand up, because Cool Boy, I talk a lot of shit about him, but I'll tell you one thing: he fought Figueroa, he fought Leo, Roman. And let me tell you, all the three he fought. He adapted.
And that's not even.
And he's not afraid. What I like about Cool Boy, he's not afraid to stand there in the trenches and actually fight that. The question is, has Inoue had an opponent that's willing to stand there in the trenches and fight toe-to-toe with you, then move out? I like Fulton more. In my case, I like him to fight from the outside, use his 3-inch outside and jab.
That's a bad idea.
But that's for me.
I think that's a bad idea.
Okay.
Because I'm not saying he can't fight on the outside. I think he's got to mix things up.
Okay.
Mix things up, keep Inoue off balance. Because the thing is, if he fights on the outside, he may find himself mid-range sooner than he thinks. And I think if this fight becomes a mid-range fight, that's where the Inoue straight right hand, the left hook,
and all that stuff. The thing about Fulton today was that they said that people don't give a lot of credit to Fulton going to the body, and he goes to the body a lot, but they would say it's nothing about that. But I mean, just go back to all the fights. It's like
when he fought Figueroa, because I was watching it yesterday. When he fought Figueroa, he was chopping that body up, and then nobody ever talk. They just talk about Brandon and Brandon pushing him back and throwing a bunch of arm punches.
And the question is, both of these fighters actually they're fighting to their level. What I mean by that is Inoue, I don't think it's ever fought a fighter or that caliber as a Fulton.
This is boxing at its highest level.
We don't know what's going to, because it's going to be a chess game from both of them. Inoue's got his style, and so that's the Philly style. So, hey, whoever wins, the best will win. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm licking my chops for this one. Yeah. I'm licking my chops for this one, and I'm telling you again, you all better not sleep on that motherfucker.
You going upset? You going USA?
You all better not sleep on the motherfucker from Philadelphia.
You going USA? You going to go to upset?
Yeah, I actually.
You going to upset?
Yeah, I've been reading about this.
No way.
Yeah, edgily, but in my heart, I read a lot.
Steve Fulton?
I'm riding with Fulton.
Whoa!
Fulton is 3 inches. I think Fulton will stand in there and he will show why he's a tough. And I love Inoue, but I just think the toughness, the grit.
I'm surprised. I thought you were picking Inoue.
I was in the beginning, but I've been reading about Fulton. I'm riding with the cool boy, and the cool boys put the fire out in Japan.
Okay, so when you say cool boy, you're gonna go safe, you're gonna go UD, or you're gonna go for the gusto. You're gonna go. Are you gonna say stop it? Is he about to?
I'm not gonna say stop it.
Okay. You ain't that crazy.
Because Inoue is crafty, strong, and I just think that I see more of the foot speed, the movement, the angles, and everything. To me, it favors more Fulton than it does Inoue. But the chess game comes in where Inoue is crafty and making things, throw this punch, he's going to come up with something else and throw different angles. Can Fulton adapt to that and make something happen? But I'm riding with Philadelphia.
Of course. You said a key word. You said adapt. What do you feel? I know you talked about.
Yeah.
What do you feel, right? What do you feel is Stephen Fulton's best attribute? Because everybody and their mom is talking about Inoue this, Inoue that. For like 2 minutes, for like 90 seconds, right? Maybe 2 minutes. F Inoue. What's the best?
I think for Fulton, what I like about Fulton, he can fight, like I was saying from the beginning, he can fight from the outside, and he's not afraid to go in the inside, fight you from the inside, go to the body. He will adapt to any style you have, and he's not afraid to question that. Well, Inoue's a bigger name than I am. I'm afraid to go ahead and take that take that dive with the shark in the water. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take Virgin Hunter now. Right. I'm going to take that shot in the water. Go on that shark, and I'm going to surprise him. And that's why he's been successful. That's why he's won, 10 straight fights, because he's been willing to do that. Yes, those fighters are not Inoue, but Inoue, at the same time, got a lot of things going on his side. I think he's going to have more pressure than Fulton. Fulton has nothing to lose. The best part about this fight is everyone's saying that Inoue hasn't fought anyone like Fulton, but guess what? Fulton sure as hell ain't fought nowhere like Inoue. Well, that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, it's hard. It's hard, especially around these weights, to get the kind of sparring that would be able to mimic like if you're Stephen Fulton, where the hell are you gonna find something like Inoue to spar? Yeah. And vice versa. If you're Inoue being in Japan, obviously he probably could have flew somebody out in Philadelphia, but I'm saying Stephen Fulton is not just a slick boxer. Stephen Fulton has a lot of grit. Stephen Fulton is not a knockout artist, but he punches just hard enough to get your respect. I mean, Stephen Fulton can box from the outside. I mean, look, I remember a fight, and then as soon as I say this point, I'm gonna go to the comments. I remember a fight when Stephen Fulton was when he was on his ascension as a prospect. When he fought, I believe it was Isaac Avalar, a tough Mexican fighter, and it was in San Antonio. You guys know fighters that go to San Antonio; it's a predominantly Mexican area, so it can be very hostile for Black American fighters, right? And the talk was that Stephen Fulton didn't have a lot of power. You know how that fight ended? Do you know what did to Isaac Avalar, who was at the time, I believe Isaac Avalar was about 17-0, something like that. He knocked the fuck out of him in 6 rounds. But that's one of the they don't talk about the Isaac Avalar fight. Let me ask you a question for both fighters, okay?
You can get the comments.
For both fighters, who do you guys think have the bigger fight? I feel that who's had the most biggest fight in the resume of fight. I think, to me, with Inoue fighting Donaire, being an experienced fighter, in my opinion, I think that was a big fight for him, and he proved to me that he knocked the fuck out of Donaire. The nigga got humble, but that was the biggest fight for him. What was, in your opinion, the biggest fight for Fulton coming to this fight? And that doesn't matter. I'm just saying, resume-wise, who's fought the more quality fighters? Because that's going to be an argument.
I mean, I think the fight that he'll be able to take a lot of confidence from will be the Brandon Figueroa fight, because Figueroa is a fighter that turned pro. Like he's a featherweight now. He's big. He's a gargoyle. I mean, listen, shout out to his lovely sister, Omara Figueroa, the best strength and conditioning coach in boxing. When I see you, Omara, I'm shooting my shot.
Yeah, you're good.
But like he's very physically strong and durable. And the thing is, when you got a guy like that pressing down on top of you for 12 rounds, that's gonna, and the fact that he got through the rounds and he had success and he was actually able to push him back many times.
Right.
That's gonna give him a lot of confidence going into this fight. Now, obviously, a fight apart from that, I really do think the Angelo Leo fight was a big fight for Fulton. Angelo Leo hit Fulton, and I think it was in the first or second round with a big ass overhand right, dead on the chin.
Right.
Couldn't have placed it any better. And Fulton took it, and he kept coming. And I think they threw upwards of like damn near, I don't know how many punches it was, but they threw a lot of punches. Like it was a dog fight. So he gets a lot of confidence from that fight. So I would say either one of those two is fine.
That's what I was gonna say. Both of these fighters, they both don't shy away for confidence.
No, they don't.
So that's a good thing for this fight.
I don't. Listen, we're gonna run through these comments right quick. So we got my man Scott Eckstein. He says, Inoue is going through Fulton like a buzzsaw. I'm surprised people think this is going to be close. It's going to be a one-sided ass beating. The monster is swinging the hammer. And by the way, now that you said that, I'm the opposite of my dad. I like Stephen Fulton. Trust me, I love a good underdog story. I feel like if he wins this fight, he's a legend because I can't think of any American fighter who's done what he's doing, But I'm gonna go with Inoue. I think Stephen Fulton. I think Stephen Fulton might even be up on the cards, but I just think there's gonna come a point in the fight where he's gonna be too Philadelphia for his own good. But his heart is gonna override his brain.
Well, I think he's
gonna stay in that pocket too long, or he'll get caught in mid range when he's not supposed to be mid range.
Yeah.
And I just think he gets hurt. So my prediction is I'm going with the Inoue late stoppage.
Well, I would say one thing about Fulton. He does have a strong stamina. I mean, going along with this, it's gonna be back and forth. It's gonna be a great fight either way. Let's go, Philly.
Tahi says, I said this on your live stream when you were in Japan. Fulton has one of the highest percentages of opponents landing. If that is the same in the Inoue fight, that's not going to end well. I remember that comment.
So he gets hit more. He hits a lot.
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of that is just due to the way. Like, just think about the last three fighters he's fought: Daniel Roman, Angelo Leo, Brandon Figueroa. Mexican American fighters that come forward. They throw a lot of punches. And he felt in those particular fights that his best path to victory was to do that, right? To do all that. If you go back and you watch Fulton when he fought, let's say Isaac Avalar or just other fights in his career, he's won fights as a slick boxer. He's won fights as a boxer puncher.
Right.
So he's kind of like, a wide receiver in the NFL, at least the good ones. He takes what the defense gives him.
Right.
So I think that's how I see Fulton. MEZBX says ESPN is doing a terrible job promoting this fight. Listen,
nothing new with them.
I agree. I was just bitching to him about this the other day. They just put out like a little all access thing that they do for Top Rank, and I was just telling them they have all these fights that really nobody cares about. When they do these all accesses, they're like 30 minutes. They put them on the ESPN Top Rank YouTube channel. They make it very accessible. But when it comes to Inoue Fulton, we don't even get 30 minutes. We get 15 minutes. We get 15 minutes, and you gotta go sign up to ESPN Plus and go out of the way to find it.
We got this from Josh Taylor. The same, they don't know how. I don't know who the public relationship is. They should make me public relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, what it was called. I'll be out there and I'll promote the fight better than they do. You know why? Because I will bring the attention to the fighters a few months ahead of time. That's what you do. You don't wait. To me, it's very disrespectful when you don't do shit right.
Yeah, absolutely.